It's your boy Dame Dozha, the Dozha Told You podcast, word on the net, and from Duval to Atlanta, y'all know how we do when we have Florida in the building, and we have a very special guest. This is gonna be a special edition of the Dozha Told You podcast, and I have the comedian Atrain here. Actually, from the city, but he been moving around for quite some time, and I never really got a chance to sit down and have a conversation with the comedic legend out of the city. A lot of folks,
Wow,
don't really, a lot of times I think you kind of skipped over the city a little bit as far as your trajectory.
Wow.
But you do bring it back home, and
Absolutely.
And it's just a beautiful thing. I think it's inspiring, and I think that your story is something that some folks could actually learn from.
Wow.
And we have one of them cities that I think people like to dwell in ignorance. They like to be in the not know. So it's like, oh, I didn't know. Like that'd be some of the favorite things that, from my perspective, people would use as far as being like, oh, I didn't know that you had an event coming up, or I didn't know that you was selling tickets for the comedy special downtown, or whatever it is. Our city kind of relies on being a little ignorant, and I try to shed light to not only the personalities, the music, but also some of the issues out of the city and beyond. So. But also want to learn more about you, my personally as well.
Nice.
So let the folks know who you are and how long you been doing comedy.
That's what's up, man. Well, first I want to say thanks for showing me love, man, and allowing me to come and chop it up with you, on your platform. But I've been doing comedy now for 11 years, bro, and I know you guys are, you appreciate, the industry of music. And I say that to say it was something that I heard Jay-Z say. He said, win at home first. You know what I mean? And that stuck with me even as a comedian. It's like win at home first. So I took that mindset. So when I started doing comedy, I do this comedy series called Atrain Live, The Experience. And as of this past February, we celebrated 10 years of doing that. So even though people see me moving about, not just throughout the country, but around the world, literally, you know what I'm saying? I've never removed my pivot foot from making sure I'm always doing something for the home front, doing something for Duval, because that's where I started out. That's where the people, who supported me, that's where my immediate fan base was. And unfortunately, well, I ain't gonna say unfortunately, but I don't have that story that most people have with their hometown. Like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? I get love everywhere except for home. No, that ain't never been my story, because from day one, like literally from day one, I've had tremendous support, from the city. So much so that when I started, like my very first show, Atrain Live, The Experience, we started doing it at the Comedy Club of Jacksonville at that time.
Was that the one that they had at the Ramada?
No, that's Comedy Zone.
Okay.
But Comedy Club of Jacksonville was on Beach Boulevard in St. John's Bluff.
Okay.
And so
next
I was
to Aqua.
Yeah.
Oh, it used to be, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that little club was on the other end of the sidewalk. Yep, same plaza, you know what I'm saying? And I was the house MC there. And this is when, a guy by the name of Steve Smith was the owner of that club. He just recently passed about 2 months ago. But I was the house MC there, and he gave me his Thursday nights. And they was going to shut the club down because, really around the country, most people attest to this, around the country, Thursday nights really ain't a good night for comedy clubs.
Right.
So business was slow for him on that Thursday night. So he came to me, and he was like, hey, man, it's like, I'm going to shut my Thursday nights down. But if you want to do something with it, I give it to you. You just let me know. And from there, I shared it with my wife, because my wife is my manager as well. I call her my wife-inger. I was like, hey, babe, Steve's trying to give us Thursday nights. He's going to close it down. He's like, we could do something if we want to, but I don't know what you want to do. You want to tell him, you going to take it? She's like, yeah, tell him, yeah, we'll take it. And I was like, and do what? She's like, just tell him, yeah, we'll take it. And I'll tell you later. So did that, cut the chase to, we created Atrain Live, the Experience. And the very first show, we sold that club out, over 300 seats sold on a Thursday night. So when I'm telling you.
So how did they know?
How did the people know?
Like, as far as, how did they know that you were funny?
Because, it's hometown. And I've been in the trenches, prior to getting to, the Comedy Club of Jacksonville. I was hosting events, hosting shows, and I'm just me. So I had like a support base. And then when I stepped out there in this other dimension, I'm telling you, man, like from there, I've had tremendous support in the city. And we sold that show out, man, that night, and the rest is history. And like literally within that same year, the city of Jacksonville, like the office, the city of Jacksonville approached me and said, hey, man, we see what you're doing and we like what you're doing and we want to talk. And they gave me a residency at the Ritz Theater. So they took my comedy series and they put it at the Ritz Theater. So now, here it is now, my platform or my show, my comedy series is on a whole nother level. Like, we're partnered with the city of Jacksonville. We're partnered with SMG. They're doing all of my marketing, doing all of my promotion. You go to the arena, you pull up the Wi-Fi. Who comes up on the front page is Comedian Atrain, the Atrain Live Experience. They're marketing our tickets as a series, just like they do the Jaguar tickets. Like, you could buy 4 shows, all at once. Like, they're really behind this thing and they're pushing it. And then when we inked the deal with the city to be at the Ritz Theater, which is a very historic, is a Black historic theater in the city, for those that don't know. But when we inked that deal, then we found out, hey, man, you guys just made history. I was like, what are you talking about? The city was saying that from the conception of the Ritz Theater, 1929, they've never had a comedy series take place or take residence in that building. And it was like, you're the first one to do this. So then that kicked up a whole lot of a new page of buzz. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm sharing this not to pat myself on the back, but I'm just sharing with the people, like, you know what I'm saying? When I say I've never removed my foot from serving my city, and the traction that we've gained and that we've received and been making since day one is all facts. You know what I'm saying? And here it is now, as of February 2025, we celebrated 10 years of doing a show once a quarter, and every show is always packed out. Most of our shows are always sold out. But every show, you can look at, my social media, you can see it. You can see the pictures, you see the videos. We got receipts. I was the first one to bring Ali Sadiq to the city, long before the Florida Theater booked him, like selling out the Florida Theater right now. Mm-hmm. Long before he got dates with the Comedy Zone. I was the first one to bring Ali Sadiq to the city. What are you saying? Are you responsible for these people's career? No. What I'm saying is, I've been able to bring quality comedians to the city and just do it on our level, just doing what we do, showing love and bringing people to the city that I knew folks would really rock with and folks would really love. I brought Kev on stage to the city, to Atrain Live, the Experience. He had never been to Duval ever before. First time there, he did Atrain Live, the Experience. We sold the Ritz Theater out. I brought Michael Jr. to the city. We did the show at the Florida Theater. The Florida Theater box office told us we've never had a comedy show to move tickets in every zip code in the city, including Clay County.
How long does it take? How many months usually do you start promoting for an event? You say you do it quarterly.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Like, we'll announce at the current show, we'll announce the next date for the upcoming show. And tickets will start moving that night while we're on stage.
So give or take about 3 months. Every 3 months.
Every 3 months, yes. So about between, definitely nothing less than 2 months, you know what I'm saying? But every 3 months. But now I did have a show where, we started promoting 30 days out because I changed locations from the Ritz Theater to WJCT China 7 Studios. Yeah. And that was like a 30-day window. And in 30 days, we still sold out a show. I've had the city connect with us or hit us up and say, hey, man, what are you guys doing that allow you to sell out before the actual show date? because you can attest to this. Duval is not a pre-ticket sale market.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to know these things. It's not really, especially in the urban space.
Exactly. So for us to have the level of success, and I'm not saying, oh, you the biggest thing in the world. No. I'm saying like what Jay-Z said. Win at home first. Whatever space you in, whatever platform you got going on, win in that space. And I'm trying to explain to these people, the reason I don't have the griping stories that most people from Duval usually have, or people from the other cities would say, because I don't have that testimony. I don't have that story, because I'm telling you, I've had nothing but success from the day that I stepped out into this game.
Well, see, I'm glad that we can have this conversation, because you just pretty much slapped my whole stance on, hey man, I took it outside the city and I built on that.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people had to do it that way.
But I try to come back.
Yeah.
I try to reach back.
Yeah.
I try to still cover the city wherever I'm at. I'm yelling Duval, right?
Right.
But it's, that can't be everybody's story.
Right.
There's somebody that the city is going to support straight up, and
it doesn't dismiss your truth.
Right. It doesn't, exactly that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's usually a music thing, as far as taking it, not being celebrated at home and then having to take it outside. But it's funny that you said Jay-Z said win first, because you a Jacksonville,
win at home first.
Win at home first, because
Mm-hmm.
you a Floridian that's listening to Jay-Z, and that's I'm sure you stood out. So I want to talk about that.
Well, listen, me referring to a quote that he made, in an interview, that doesn't mean that I was in the South listening to, the cats from up north, because you already know that's not even our ears.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have people to break that barrier, like even 95 South. They broke that barrier to where they had people up north rocking with those of us down south music.
Yeah, shout out.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the quote that I gave from Jay-Z, or was referring to, that was something I heard him say in an interview, not because, yeah.
Well, I'm a fan.
Yeah, we rock with his success.
And I just wanted to say, because this is something that I was saying all week. I feel like if the kids listen to Jay-Z more, like really listen, like you can tell that the rappers nowadays didn't really listen to Jay-Z. And this is why I say that, because from Blueprint to 444, Jay-Z grew up with his music.
Yeah, that's a totally different Jay-Z from back in the 90s. Yeah.
Right. And he pivoted not only in music, but outside of music in a way that I feel is inspirational, no matter what region that you from.
Yeah.
And the fact that he reached out in the South, West, overseas even, but he represents just change and not and being able to start one place and take it to a whole nother stratosphere. And I think that a lot of people, especially in the younger generation, of course in music, but just period, could learn from the way that Jay pivoted and kept his name involved in so many different things, giving back in so many different ways, and just didn't pigeonhole himself to just be a rapper.
But and I agree, and I think one of the things that people miss is, my OG shared this with me years ago. He was like, "Man, listen, comedy isn't something we do. It's literally who we are." And when you understand that, it removes the pressure of you going to the stage and feeling like you're being made to perform, because acts fade. But who you are as an individual, it lasts the test of time. So what happens, like what Jay-Z really did from an artist perspective, and especially someone like you who appreciate the form of art, if art is really true and real, if talent is really true and real, you can look at someone like Jay-Z and you see it alive and well, meaning all he did was live his life. We saw him as a jet. You know what I'm saying? Making music. You saw him from the hustling days. You saw him from the entrepreneur standpoint. Like, we saw all phases of his life. And then he was able to depict it with his music or his art or his craft. Mm-hmm. So that's what causes a person to like see the growth and the change. And, oh man, like the 2 albums that you just, pointed out, and how vast different they were from,
from
his
the Blueprint
work. Exactly.
The 444, like he's married now.
See what I'm saying? And it's like, as a comic, it's like, oh, what you gonna talk about? Okay, well, if you single, you're gonna talk about that. You get married, you're gonna talk about that. You travel the world, you're gonna talk about that. Your pay grade change, the pay status change, you're gonna start talking about that. And it's really in harmony of what artistry really is. And art is always alive and well. It's always evolving. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, think about the people who you probably used to rock with back in the day, but now it's like, why? Because they probably didn't evolve as an artist.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember talking with, another comedian who was sharing some information that they shared with an internet sensation. And they were saying that, they shared with them, hey, you popping right now, but be careful not to allow your audience to outgrow you. Because right now you got this catchphrase and it's cute and it's kind of popping, but it's within a certain age group. So you can't get 10 years down the road still saying something that y'all said. You know what I'm saying?
My bad. I just, I got to rant sometimes.
So you get what I'm talking about, So she was telling this internet sensation, like, look, you're going to have to grow with your audience. You're going to have to grow with the age group of your audience, because if not, they're going to mature. And when they mature, they're going to stop liking what you're doing right now today, because they're on another level. And the reason we're talking about with Jay-Z and seeing that growth and appreciating it is because as an artist, you are in your moment, you're living in your space, and then you're allowing your space to show up in your art form.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I think that's where the magic at, and I think that's what people tend to overlook. They like to just, because even with my wife and I were just having this conversation last night about, how people tend to go after their mentors. You got somebody that you look up to. A lot of times you try to duplicate where they are now in their masterful years.
Yeah, or emulate.
Yeah, you're trying to emulate where they are with the craft at the mastery level. And you're overlooking where they were when they were in the game doing your tenure. What type of comic or artist was this person
when they first started doing
let me see how you did your open mics. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you want to start channeling yourself, not where they are in the ultimate level, because you need the same time that they, you see what I'm saying? You want to give yourself grace and time and get that stage time in. You need to be raked over by some promoters. You need some shows where ain't nobody showing up. Like, all that stuff builds what it necessarily needs to build in you as an artist, so that you can get to the level, and now you can be in resemblance of the person you're looking up to, because it was all of those things that made them what you're trying to emulate today. But you can't look at somebody like, okay, this their last special, I'm trying to be on that level. You don't understand. When a comedian shoot a special, he has done that particular joke on the road every weekend, maybe like 4 to 7 shows every weekend, 52 weeks out of the year for at least 2 years on the road. So by the time you hear him do this joke, he's working it out and got it to a point where he got it and it sounds so natural. And people are like, man, his material, he's like, you don't really know if he joked because it sounds so natural. That's because he got it down to a point from doing it so many times, he got it to where he really wanted to be. And then when he shoot the special is going to come behind him, chop it up, edit it up, clean it up, put that production on it. And then they put it before you, and you think you looking at a natural product, not understanding the work and the chiseling that it took place. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even know what you're trying to emulate.
Okay. And from a stand-up point, you spoke about your OG, and I believe that your OG is DL.
Yeah, that's one of my OGs. Yeah, I got several.
Several.
Yeah, brother.
And this about 10 years as far as your tenure in comedy? About 10 years?
11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay, so being from Jacksonville, though, what made you decide that comedy was your thing?
I didn't.
What outlets gave you the opportunity to sharpen your comedic?
Yeah.
Before because there wasn't really many outlets.
No. And see, and I'm glad you brought that up, because in the South, we don't have a lot of outlets to allow us to sharpen our craft as a comedian. Like, we don't have a lot of stages in the South like they do up north. Up north, if you in New York, you can literally hit a stage 20 to 30 times just in 1 week. But down south, you don't have those opportunities like that. So I was really fortunate to have the opportunity to be the house MC at the Comedy Club of Jacksonville. And then the man locked me in as the permanent MC. So therefore, I was on stage every weekend. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of top-notch comedians from HBO, Comedy Central, and things of that nature. So, I was able to kind of hone my craft in that format. And then also, I was being booked to host a lot of concerts. Shout out to Levi Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
For 10 years, I was Levi's host for every show that he booked, not just in Duval, but even all up the East Coast. So being on a stage like that in an arena, and you hosting the Kings and Queens of Hip Hop, the Blues Is All Right tour, you doing the R&B, you doing the Betty Wrights and the Patti LaBelle's, you doing Kirk Franklin. I'm hitting them all. I'm doing all these shows, and I'm on a major stage in an arena, and it's allowing me to sharpen my skills as a comic that most people in the South don't get. You know what I mean? So, and then like with DL, I was only 2 years in the game when I met him in New York. And he took me on this wing and began to like take me on the road, show me the game, show me the ropes or whatever. And I was just doing dates with him. So for 2 years, like just being a young comic 2 years in and getting that level of exposure, not just being on stage, but even priceless. Just being in the green room and picking up game. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of opportunities that afforded me to be the solid individual that I am on stage like I am now. And then, at bare minimum, I'm a true extrovert. Like, I only come alive when I'm in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you get that energy. The energy feeds you to be a whole nother person.
Nother person, man. And I feed off of it to the point where my manager had to book me on shows up north because I was having difficulty in performing in front of like small crowds. Because when I started out into a comedy competition, when I started out in comedy, I did my first performance after winning at this little showcase. My first performance was at the Times Union. So I started out in a theater, a sold out show at a theater. And then from there, I'm hosting arena shows with Levi. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing major stuff like that. And then I'm in major comedy clubs with DL. So when that was time for me to do like a little small show or something, like a intimate crowd, like true comedy basement style room.
Yeah.
Man, I would lock up. I'd get off stage. I'm like, what are you doing? I said, man, I'm done. She said, you're not done. You got 30 more minutes. I said, man, this ain't no show. You know what I'm saying? Because I got so used to, like, it's a different energy when you on a arena stage or a big stage. You yelling. It's like I'm wide open. And then they put me in this box and it's 15 people sitting there, with their little wine and all that. I'm like,
you gotta be the same guy.
I'm like, man, y'all call me. I know it's easier said than done, but I'm telling you things that I had to work through.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all call me when the crowd show up. Like, this ain't it. So I started doing shows up in the Poconos, at the resorts, started doing runs with my dude Sean Cornelius. I started doing shows up in up in New York, doing like them basement style rooms at LOL. You know what I'm saying? The Ha Comedy Club, like hitting them little rooms just so I could build my muscle and get that cadence down to catering to a small crowd. Now I'm all good. I could do them all.
What is your favorite place to do comedy?
Oh man, wherever they paying me.
Where the money right? The funny part.
I'm where the money resides. Yeah. No, I'm teasing, man.
but you been getting busy on the cruise ships.
Yeah, man.
On the tours lately.
Yeah, man.
And I take it. Well, from seeing you on social media, they take care of you out there on them cruise ships,
as they should.
And they've been taking you out. You know, they've been keeping you out on tour for months at a time.
Listen, man. You know what? I'm really grateful because this whole lane of doing comedy on cruise ships, for years people kind of looked down on it until here lately. I say within the last maybe like 10 years. People be like, oh, man, they be all in your inbox. Hey, man, how you get on them ships? I'm trying to get on them ships. When it was a time, people looked at performing on cruise ships as an end to your career.
Yeah, like you was exiled or something.
Right. But now, though, they beating our doors down trying to get out there because they see the consistency of work and they see the caliber.
Right. During times where it might be slow other places,
we working.
Yeah, you working and seeing sunshine.
And seeing sunshine. You know what I'm saying? And it's basically like being in Vegas with a residency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're just out on that water. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you right now, brother, the cruise ship, anybody you see, any comedian you see performing on a cruise ship, tilt your hat off to that cat. Because there's no other market that is as intricate and difficult and strategic as it is performing comedy on a cruise ship. Because when you on land, it's much easier. If I'm in Atlanta, I know my target audience. I know my demographics.
Okay. I see where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like what we call low-hanging fruit. You know what you got to pick. You know what I'm saying? You know where you're going to hit them at. But when you're on that cruise ship, you're standing before, say, like 1,500 people.
From all over the...
From all that audience is so diverse. They diverse when it comes to age, ethnicity, you know what I'm saying? Backgrounds, like they from all different parts of the world.
Class,
they from different cultures, all of that. And they're sitting in one audience. Now you as a comedian, you got to reach all of these different backgrounds and diversities, you know what I'm saying, and have something that you're saying that's going to resonate or be relatable to them in order for them to laugh. Brother, you can't get that level of diversity nowhere other than a cruise ship, or unless you're doing something like on a Netflix level or something on a world platform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a muscle that you can only exercise out there. You can't do that when you go to Austin, Texas. You can't do that when you go to Atlanta. You can't do that when you go to Jersey. You can't get that when you go to LA. You can't get it from New York. You can't get it from Chicago. You can't get it from Texas. You can't get it from Florida.
Yeah.
You can't even get it when you go to the comedy festival that they used to have up in Canada.
So that made you a different type of beast.
A different type of beast. Because them little jokes that you slinging in that hookah lounge, them jokes you slinging at home in Duval, they're not going to work out there.
Yeah.
Because them people don't know what you're talking about. You'll find just how limited your material is when you get out there in a real thing. And then you got these old white folks sitting there looking at you like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Like, so
what you say?
You got to have material, brother.
Your whole dialect might throw them off.
You got to, and like, for example, I just got off
Duval,
a cruise.
You said bike? You mean a riding bike?
All that to interrupt them from connecting with you. Yes. Yes, man. I'm telling you. So I'm telling you, that cruise ship, performing comedy on cruise ships ain't nothing to run up on.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of cats, man. They like, oh, man, this, and you got some people like, oh, that's easy. I do a little crowd work. Well, what are you going to do? Because there are some ships with some cruise directors and entertainment directors, they'll let you know, hey, we brought you on because you said you had this number of shows. And they don't even highlight or market you on the kiosk. They're marketing the title of your show, 7 p.m., come see School Days, you know what I'm saying, by Comedian Atrain. So when they come in at 7 o'clock to see this particular show and you're in there doing crowd work, You get pulled into a meeting, and I'm not telling you hearsay. I'm telling you I'm from experience. You get pulled into a meeting, and the director's asking you, "Hey, we noticed you were on stage asking questions. Is that a part of your set?"
Yeah. What is that?
Because the deal is we're paying you for your material. And crowd work, in their eyes, that's not material.
That's unprepared.
That's how they view it. They view it as unpreparedness. But us coming from the hood, coming from the streets, crowd work, you got people who go to a show just so that you can talk to them.
Yeah.
Hey, it's my husband's birthday. Please get him. Ma'am, I got a set to do. But
that's that Martin Lawrence Def Comedy Jam old style. But that ain't going for every
that ain't room. And that's all I'm trying to say. Like you gotta open your mind. You gotta understand that this game is larger than what you've been exposed to coming up in the streets or coming up in your local hood room and all of that, and how you think it's stuff you killing it. When you get out here, there's certain politics that are involved. And what are you going to do? Like they said in the movie, you done drop your pistol when you bust through the window. Now what you gonna do? Because you done came out here thinking, oh, I don't need no material. I just do crowd work, until you get on that ship where they don't allow crowd work. Matter of fact, the club in Jacksonville that I came up in, Comedy Club of Jacksonville, they had it in their contract and rules on the wall in the green room. He'll tell you, I paid you for your material, not to make my audience your material.
Oh,
because his philosophy was, you came in this weekend, you got your bag, and you gone. He's stuck trying to build a business in the city and trying to have these same people come back next week.
Yeah.
But they may not come back next week knowing that you're going to. Exactly. So I understood it from that business side, you know what I'm saying? But then, like, there are certain ships, there's a certain cruise line out there, and there are certain ships that do not allow you to do crowd work. They want you to do your material. And then there are some ships, we do 10 shows in 2 days, and you got to have at least a minimum of 6 shows, 6 different sets.
Oh, so you do a different set.
And what me and a lot of other comedians do on that particular vessel, where they have us do 10 shows in 2 days, we do 10 different 30 minutes.
And you got all that up there.
Listen, people tell you right now that one of the things that I'm really famous for, or the reason people rock with me out there, is because they came to all my shows and they're like, he never repeated a joke. And comments be like, hey, man, I want to get on the ships, man. How many shows you got, bro? Oh, I got 2 hours. That ain't enough.
And
bro.
You can almost afford to repeat a joke in a sense, because
they schedule it. They'll tell you, hey, the 9 o'clock show is going to be a repeat show. But even then, we don't repeat them.
Because it's like, I'm not going to go to all the comedy specials on the boat. And then, once I'm on the boat this time, I probably won't see you in comedy almost for another 5 years, maybe.
And again, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, they have on the schedule, they'll schedule, the 9 o'clock show is going to be a repeat family show from another night. But I'm telling you, what I always do, I go with a new set, because in my mind, it ain't that many people on this boat. You know what I'm saying? The people who come to see this comedy are the same people coming to see this comedy. Now there is a ship out there, like on the XL ships, like them big boys, where they got like 6,500 cabins just for the passengers, you know what I'm saying? So they try to be a little diverse or whatever. But even with that, you may not see the same people, but I do a different show every time.
What's the longest you've been on a comedy tour on a cruise ship?
I've done 6 weeks is the longest. See, I'm what they call a guest entertainer. We're not crew, like the people who work in the rooms or the bar, or the who walk around cleaning, and the people who work on ships. They're considered crew. But as an entertainer, they refer to us as guest entertainer, which means we don't have to be on that ship 6 months or 9 months straight. We can go in, like my contract, it could be a week long, and I go in, do my shows, and I'm out. It's based on my availability and what I want to do. And now, like I say, I've been on one run, like the longest, it was about like 6 weeks. So
okay,
yeah.
And then you port and say, "I see y'all."
Yeah. So like year before last, I was in 22 different countries in 10 months. You know what I'm saying? Like you run it, man.
You bring your family? Are you allowed to bring your family?
Yeah, sir. So every cruise line is different. You know what I'm saying? and they got their own different set of rules. And for the most part, you know, they do allow you to bring your +1. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got some other cruise lines, they do a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, my wife, she travel with me sometimes, man.
Okay. When you were developing your comedy, your comic routine, what amount of minutes did you start off with?
Man, I just had to do what, 7?
7 minutes.
I was focused on that. That's why my first time doing a set.
As I was saying, when you first developed your comedic routine, you said that you started out with 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, you really don't realize how long 7 minutes is until you on that timer.
Oh, yes, sir, brother.
Is that a normal thing? Is it usually a 3-minute thing, or like what is the bar?
Yeah, it really depends on the region that you're in. You know what I'm saying? Like some places you want to get that 3 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Get that down first, and then work you up from 5 to 10. You know what I'm saying? Or 5 to 7. But I had to do 7. The reason that was a marker for me is because the competition that my wife signed me up in without me knowing, it was a 7-minute set that we had to do. So just to bring some of you all up to speed, the way I started doing comedy, my wife signed me up into a comedy competition without me knowing and made me do it. She had been telling me for years. We've been married 26 years, been together 27. When we met 27 years ago, she was like, you need to be doing stand-up.
27 years ago.
27 years ago. And I was like, I'm not doing no stand-up. Are you crazy?
Let me do the math. So it took
10 years. It took me, so 10 years later, she still was like pressing on me. And I wouldn't do it. So she stopped. She's like, I'm tired of talking to you. And she went and she signed me up at this showcase that was going on in the city.
And you ain't had no written jokes.
No, and that's what I told her. I was like, I said, I ain't doing no stand-up. I said, you have to have material for stand-up. I said, I ain't got no jokes or no material. My hand to God, her words were, have you met your family? You got plenty of material. She say all them stories that you be telling people when we have people over for dinner. You know what I'm saying? On Sundays, we cook, we got a big spread out there, and you know what I'm saying? Everybody eating and chilling, and them same stories you be telling people and have them cracking up laughing. She's like, we're going to take them same stories and we're going to turn them into bits. And she said, I'll help you do it, because my wife is a writer. You know what I'm saying? Like this, she's been
a visionary.
Yes, a visionary and some. You know what I'm saying?
A brilliant woman, sounds like.
Yes, like, man.
Support system. Out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Bro.
It is, man. It is. So here I am. We sitting down and we're trying to formulate this 7-minute set. Right? And I get up to go do it at this competition. And in my head, I'm saying, I'll never let her talk me into doing anything like this ever again. I'm on stage running through my little jokes. People are laughing, but in my head, I'm saying, why are they laughing? This is stupid. This is corny. Like, what are they? Like, they're laughing.
That Jacksonville in you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this ain't funny, man. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is stupid. And I was like, I'm just trying to get down from up there because I do not want to do this. And I'm doing this just to shut her up so she can leave me alone. Did my last joke. People stand on their feet and start clapping. I didn't even know. That's a standing ovation right there, Train.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get off that stage.
Very first.
Put the mic down and I'm out. People clapping, standing up. I go to the back because I'm like, all right, now I did it. Leave me alone. Don't ever ask me to do this ever again.
So how did you do it how did you do it again?
I end up winning. And the prize was, they gave you a little monetary little prize.
But come on back.
And then the following week, they had a show at the Times Union, and you had to be since you won, you got to open up at that show.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so now I got to do these 7 minutes that I just did tonight. I got to do them again next week.
More time. Okay. So she helped write some of that material.
She helped me write it, formulate it, and get it all down. And then, brother, I'm going to take it a step further.
You practice your comedic on her, like your time?
Yeah. I went over it like, so we trying to get it down in that time window. You know what I'm saying? She's like, okay, now take this out, take that, do this, do that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, don't say all that. You using too many words. Like she really set me down together and we worked this out.
That's a wifinger.
Man, let me you know what? Since we here, I take y'all. I'm gonna share with y'all what I haven't really shared with other people. So the people told us, say, hey man, congratulations, you won. Next Saturday we're gonna be at the show, blah blah blah. If you got merchandise, bring your merchandise because it's gonna be sold out show. People always supporting, blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, what is this dude even talking about? Because I'm not doing all like what? I'm not even doing this. Like, I'm just like, this is it. And she's sitting there. She's like, okay, yeah, no problem. Bro, my hand to God. That was Saturday night. Tuesday, my wife had called one of our friends, got with him. They put out this little email to about 60 people, had them to come and at this church. And she said, I want you to perform what you just did tonight and these other little stories. I want you to do that, and we're going to record it because you got to have product to sell. I was like, product to sell? What you talking about?
Hey, you got Joe Jackson as a
right. I was like, girl.
She got the spirit of Joe Jackson, boy. She on you, boy.
Bro, I was like, babe, do you not understand people do comedy for years before they start recording and doing a special? I've been doing comedy a day, like a night. What are you talking about?
Nah,
she's like, just listen to me. She said, listen, if you look at the CD cover that she created, and then the next day I had to go do a photo shoot. I did an alter ego photo shoot. It was dope. She did this whole brand. She had my labeling. She had my CD covers. She did an 8x10. That's what you're going to use. You're going to sell these because you're going to autograph these. You're going to sell these after the show. And my sleeve for my CD cover was better than what was on the CD. Had the step and repeat banner that she ordered from this place in Miami. I was the first comedian in Duval to have a step and repeat banner. People was at the show. The headliner asked me, he said, hey man, because before the show, I'm at the Times Union. She got my product table set all up. Like it looks like something from a home and patio show. She got my table set up. It's decked out, bro. I look like I've been doing comedy for years.
Or maybe selling Tupperware or something.
Brother, listen. So the headliner come by the green room. He said, hey, Train, what's up, baby? I said, ain't nothing, man. What's going on? I said, hey, man, thank y'all for having me, man. He's like, nah, it's all good, man. You did your thing the other week. He said, come walk with me for a minute. We walked through the theater and we go out in the hallway. He said, what's this right here? Where you get this? What is this? I said, I don't know, man. My wife did that. He had never seen a step and repeat banner. He had never seen it before. He's like, man, he said, yeah. He said, I need you to do me a favor. I was like, yeah, what's up, man? He said, can you move your table down there? He said, because your table is outdoing mine.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, you're not even the opener. You the
yeah.
You're not even the opener of the show. You opening for the openers. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh man, my bad. I ain't know. He's like, no, it's all good. He said, because it looks good. Just move it down there. Because I'm trying to, I don't want anything to interfere. So we had to move our table. And at the end of the night, D, we were the only ones to sell out of all of our products.
Yeah.
So I killed it that night on stage. I got a standing ovation. And when I got that standing ovation at that theater, something hit me then. I was like, oh, I like this.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the bug hit me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I like this. And that night, we sold out of everything, man. All the CDs. She had T-shirts printed up. She had the 8x11 little poster card things that she did. All my little artwork, man, sold out of all of it, bro.
And
in a week.
While you're on stage, she running the rest of the...
She running the business, brother. And see, my wife, her background, she was a publicist for a lot of entertainers, athletes, and celebrities like back in the early 90s. So she's been around the business, so she know what it is. Matter of fact, she helped put the magazine, I don't know if you remember this, Introtainment. This might be before your time. Introtainment that Jazz Co. used to have. Jazz Co. Charles Scanlon used to have a magazine.
Yeah.
At the time, it wasn't even a magazine. My wife came along, partnered with them on some stuff, and she took that thing, to a whole nother level, to the point where you remember there was a time if anybody had any show or dropping any music and it was coming through the South, they wanted to come through Jazzco. They wanted to come. People was paying money trying to get in that magazine that my wife was one of the editors over. So she is real potent with the pen. She's brilliant, man.
She's a
brilliant.
marketing genius, sounds like.
Absolutely, brother.
And again, she got the spirit of Joe Jackson. She put that whip on you and got you out there doing them routines.
Till this day, man.
Got you out there doing them routines, man.
That's
beautiful, man.
So I always tell cats, man, listen, if you're trying to find your spouse, man, don't just rock with somebody who's rocking with you for where you are today. Find you somebody who can not only rock with you for where you are today, but they see where you're going around the corner and they meet that as well. Because that was my wife, man. Even when I didn't see it, she saw it.
Shout out to you, ma'am.
Shout out to baby.
I wish, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go say too in depth. Because I feel like I could talk about this all day, and I'm actually catching some of these pointers because when you have a comedic set and you go a certain time, and like you don't be worried about forgetting anything. Like, how does that? Because 7 minutes goes to 15, goes to 30,
45,
and then you're doing 30 to 45 2 times in a day. Or more. How are you remembering all of this?
It's my material. It's my material. It's my life. I can't forget my life. It's like asking, I ain't gonna say Jay-Z. You gonna call somebody from the South since we didn't talk about the North.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it's like
asking, Big Boy, like, hey man, how you remember? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you remember your lines? Like, that's his stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So comedy is the same way. And I always tell people, like, I have over 6 hours worth of material. Okay. So, and it's like playing cards. You know what's in your hand. Now it's just a matter of what you want to throw out and win. And even like my crowd work is still material that I've worked out because every show you're going to have the same crowd. Every show is going to be a newlywed couple in there, a young couple in there, old couple in there, interracial couple in there, a nurse in there, a doctor in there, a firefighter in there, whatever. So you come to a teacher. So you come across all these situations, and now I got material that I've written for each little situation, each little scenario. So I may be talking to the audience doing some crowd work, and he say something, and it just open up a file. I got a bit for that. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So even in my crowd work, it's still a little bit of my material. It looks like it's new to you all off the cuff, but that's the beauty of the magic. You know what I'm saying? It looks real. You know what I mean? And but for it's like my material, my actual factual material, like that's my stuff. That's my life. I know what it is. So I know for this show, I'm getting ready to do, okay, this is my family-friendly show, my 7 o'clock show. I'm going to do my 45 minutes on that. I know what my closer are. I know where I am in the middle. I know what I'm starting out with. I know what I'm hitting with here. I know my transitioning. Boom, boom, boom. The next show, that's another family-friendly show. Well, I know I already did them jokes. Now I know I got left right here is this one. This is when I talk about this and the third, and I leave it here, and I transition to that, ultimately to bring it here. I know all that. It's my stuff.
Yeah, man. You sound like you're a quarterback. You sound like Tom Brady, low-key, or Peyton Manning. Man. Like you get to read and react. And I get it. I get it when you break it down like that. So you have a whole routine for the hecklers.
Absolutely.
Can you give us a time that the heckler probably got the better of you a little bit?
Well, to be truthfully speaking, I haven't had like situation like, oh man, yeah, I remember one time this dude was trying to heckle me. No, people get heckled when you're not funny on stage. If you on stage killing, people don't have time to heckle.
Oh, okay.
So if you hear somebody like 9 times out of 10, you up there struggling already. I see some comedians like on the cruise ship. I saw somebody like telling me, yeah, man, dude, Johnny. I'm like, on that boat? You must was already struggling. Cause that right there, you come in lit. Like what we doing here? Like, you know, and it's like, you know, people heckle when they have time to heckle or when you ain't funny. And I don't have those situations.
Okay.
I don't have and that ain't nothing, that ain't cap. It's like we vibing. We having a good time.
Is there a possibility that somebody could possibly put a heckler in the room,
the audience
to, you know, in case everything goes wrong, then you say this and then I, you know, start talking about you.
Try to have a backup plan, right?
Because I think a lot of these things are starting to be a little more organized than it comes off of.
Hey,
I always thought that the Will Smith Chris Rock slap, to me,
it looks a little staged. It looks a little staged to you.
It was a little staged. But, you know, and from the jump, I was like, man, this gonna do wonders for both of the careers. Like y'all got in the age of social media, when
brother,
they ain't talking.
Yeah,
these, like, don't put it past people to orchestrate their own chaos.
And say drama always sell, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, not saying that you subscribe to that.
Right.
But have you ever seen anybody orchestrate some chaos in the comedy?
Not orchestrate chaos, because I mean, really, like the circle I run with, man, these cats are bona fide, you know, craftsmen when it comes to the art form of a comedy. My circle, they're really bona fide stand-ups. I run with those that I'm wired like. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, like, you know, I mean, you run around with DL Hughley, I'm performing with DL, I'm performing with Bodacious, you know, I'm doing shows with Bill Bellamy, you know what I'm saying? You know, you around people like Tony Roberts, you around people like Ali Sadiq, like these are bona fide. I'm not with them every day, but I'm saying, like, my circle, when I'm not doing my stuff, you're going to either see me around other bona fide comics, not no little, you know, cheesy. You see what I'm saying?
I ain't even gonna, we get it.
Yeah.
When
so
you
it's
say
like,
little, I'm just like, all right.
Like, I run with real cats, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I love the art form.
Yeah.
And it's some stuff I can't relate to because my circle, we don't get down like that. That's like me being from like a certain, you know, I'm from a certain hood in Duval. And it's certain things people talk about and they ask and they want to tie to the whole city as Duval. And I'm like, no, bro, that don't apply to me. And then you have them like, oh, come on, everybody was doing it. No, that's because your neighborhood was prey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come from the neighborhood who was a dog, and we don't do that. Like that, like, you know, like somebody, like, I had to call my brother one time, man. I was like, hey, you know, because like when all this dancing stuff came out, like Duval, people like, oh, everybody dancing Duval, all the dudes dancing Duval. I'm like, nah, bro, not where I'm from. You can't dance with a pistol on your hip. Like, what are you talking about? They didn't dance. Nobody from my hood danced. It was one dude who danced, but we knew why he danced, because he was him downstairs. You know what I'm saying? He was him. You know what I mean? So
he was showing that.
Yeah. He was that dude. You know what I'm saying? But I cannot, on my mama, I cannot tell you, out of an entire apartment complex, I cannot, from the OGs to my age group and everybody in between, I cannot tell you, yeah, man, they be like, they don't walk around here shaking and wiggling their hips and all that. Like, it's
and the booty shake,
you know,
back in the day.
What? Listen, man, wasn't no booty shaking, wasn't no like you gotta understand, bro. Like, this ain't against nobody else. I'm just telling my truth. So when you come from an environment like that, and then you get around other people and they want to like start sharing war stories, and you looking at them like,
I can't relate to that.
Yeah, and they like, what? I'm like, yeah, like,
yeah, you from Florida, you know, y'all be dancing.
Yeah, nah, bro.
They be dancing though.
Yeah, not this side of Moncrief.
You see, I went to Mandarin, right? But my people was from the north side.
Yeah.
So it was always a thing, because Jacksonville is brutal. Let me tell you, in Jacksonville,
yeah, bro,
if they don't know, like, whenever there's not enough information in Jacksonville about a certain thing, we just gonna joke.
Right.
So if you got on some Reeboks
Brother.
and we don't know enough information about the Reeboks, we're joking on your shoes. You know, or like whatever it is. If you could be wearing some Efisu jeans, and they could be $600, and you go around some Duval niggas,
Yeah,
and they don't know about it,
hey man,
you are now
Hey.
the butt of the joke.
Hey, and you better not wear them jeans twice in 1 week. You know what I'm saying?
On you.
Hey, listen, you know, it's gonna find something.
So I'm being a Mandarin guy, right? Now in Mandarin, I was the stoner. I slept in class. You know, a lot of people wrote me off to be, you know what I'm saying, not as smart because I didn't really try hard, but I was a AB student without doing anything.
Of course.
Then I go on the north side and I'm microchip brain.
Listen.
Like everything, like I read books and they like, oh, he want to do it by the book. Like they would turn.
Look at this old reading the book.
Yeah, they would just turn like whatever you think you got going on.
Yeah, man.
They could flip it on you. So,
yes, sir.
In Jacksonville, you got to be tough. Like, and I tell folks, I'll be like, man, I ain't sensitive. I'm not really sensitive. I'm from Duval. Like,
listen, man, you had to go outside. If you gonna go out that door, you gotta have tough skin, man.
Like, I was like, every day I go, you know, I go to school, and I'm a part of the Jones, and you know what I'm saying? I'm a Jones, matter of fact, anyway. So I'm a part of the Jones a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I go on back on the north side, and they Jonesing on me.
See?
So you know, you got to be able to dish it, and you got to be able to take it. Take it. And and if you cry early, then that's just gonna give them more fuel. You know, more venom. If you know, say if you don't know how to take it. And I always, cause my friend, I rode around with a big dude. He was fat and he was funny. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of small and funny.
Yeah.
And so we were relatively bullies. You know, but he had this joke that I always used because I just thought it was brilliant. Yeah, he was fat, and you know, fat dudes. Matter of fact, that's why when Rick Ross and Drake was going at it, or anybody going at it with Ross and 50 or whatever, I'd be like, bro, you don't beef with a fat Florida nigga. Like, don't do it. Like,
because he quick on his feet. Number one,
like he's been doing this for years.
Yes, sir, brother.
And years,
and he know he fat, so you can't get him with that. Yeah, you can't get him with that.
He's already comfortable in that package.
Yes,
you got to come with a whole nother thing.
Yes,
especially if he dark skinned, fat, black, and Florida.
Yes.
Oh man, he got you. so, but my friend has this joke, man. He'd be like, I'm fat, you ugly, you can't run that off. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, bruh, Hall of Fame joke. I'm not even fat. Yes, and I be trying to use that. Like, bro, I be like, yeah, bro, I'm fat. You know what I'm saying? You ugly, you can't run that off.
That's hilarious, like, bruh.
Like, so in our hometown, you got to know how to take a joke, and you also gonna learn a few jokes of your own. And but there was I'm very glad we started it off by saying that you've always been supported. You've had the support system of the city behind you. And a lot of folks don't have that story, but that story can exist.
It can exist, man.
And it really depends on how you embrace it. Because if you allow the lack of support to slow you down, then maybe you wasn't really supposed to be moving anyway. But if you know what I'm saying, but if you embrace the little support that you may have, that little support or the plank that your wife may have put you out on, hey man, go walk the plank, and then you found out that you could walk on water. At least while these folks is laughing.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you may start to sink, but you better start telling some more jokes.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, man, when I started doing comedy, I often tell people that's when the voices ceased. You know, like as a man or as a person, you working on a job, you done did what you need to do during that day, and right before you fall off to sleep, you start mapping, you know what I'm saying, or like routing things in your head, like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm trying to do this, get this up, and when I do that, I'm going to try to make this move, blah, 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 I'm trying to, you know, all that, your brain is just kind of going, right? Man, when I started doing comedy, all of that ceased for me. And that's when I knew I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
So you mean it wasn't in your head as much? You didn't have to think about it. It just kind of came. Once you treated that muscle, it got natural.
Yeah. And once I stepped into doing comedy and performing it and slinging these jokes at night, I didn't have anxiety about trying to, do something to get myself in a better position or a better side of life, or like that grind and that anxiety is what it really is. Now I do have things like I'm trying to okay, I'm gonna, make this move, make that move, but not from the standpoint of like you feeling like you're trying to get your stuff together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and to me and for me, it was a sign to me that, man, you're where you're supposed to be. You're right
feet
where
was
you
planted.
need to be. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is who I am. I love it, man. It gives me life. I can't even imagine myself doing anything other than what I'm doing.
Okay, so it's totally changing, right? And I think that you are, you still practice OG comedy tactics, and what I mean is stand up for one.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the internet and the evolution of comedy, as far as the internet and the YouTube has turned everything, or is turning everything?
Yeah, I think it's I'm cool with it, and I think it's a very healthy thing that's happening. You know what I'm saying? It's the evolving of the industry. There was a time where you only had very limited outlets to have your talent displayed and reach a particular audience or a market. You know what I'm saying? If you had to go through BET, you had to go through Comedy Central, you had to go through HBO to get your specials, placed on them things, or, get on his TV show so that you can be seen. You know what I'm saying? Like the outlets and the avenues were very limited. And then especially if you were, what they call urban comic, you know what I'm saying? It was extremely limited. You know what I mean? But with the internet, the internet serves comedy just like it serves most things. It's another tool. It's another platform to be viewed and to kind of take your destiny in your own hand. You don't really have the quote unquote gatekeepers anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're there.
Yeah.
And then it's only a certain group of people, or a certain type of person who really embrace them and leverage them for exactly who they are in the position that they're in. I don't like speaking against the role and the concept of a gatekeeper, because usually the gatekeeper, is there to prepare you. Is like a kingmaker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You coming up to the gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper, okay, man, you want to take them shoes off. You want to do this. You want to do that, because this is what they're looking for. Now, sometimes the gatekeepers, they tend to go over into a negative standpoint and be trying to keep people out. But my point is, the role of a gatekeeper is really important, because it's a cheat sheet to let you know what's being accepted, what's being received, so you don't go in there swinging the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in that sense, that's why I say I really appreciate, that role to a degree, because it's an inside scoop to what it is that you need to be doing and what it is that you need to present.
And with YouTube and the internet, that kind of gets faded.
That gets faded because you out there doing your own thing, swinging how you want to swing, and then you mad because ain't nobody rocking with it, not knowing it's not that they're not rocking with it. The gatekeeper would have told you, hey, man, this right here.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Got you. Mr. Miyagi was a gatekeeper.
It was a gatekeeper.
Mr. Miyagi said, hey, wax on, wax off. I'm going to tell it to you so you can understand.
He's a king maker, and you need those in life. You need those.
Definitely.
Talent alone is not enough. Talent alone is not enough. I mean, it's like having raw food, bro. Who wants that? Raw food ain't never been good.
Until recently, like all these sushi places, all of a sudden, like now tartar and
raw food could be very dangerous at times. You know what I'm saying? So so my point is, I think with the internet and some of these other avenues that comedy has been introduced to, you know what I'm saying? I think it's awesome for the craft, but just like with anything else, it all requires proper management. It requires a gatekeeper's ear, because a lot of times this internet is the very thing that's hurting people. When you got some people it's helping, some people it's destroying them.
Yeah.
You can't. I know a lot of comedians who have lost out on being booked on major shows and major platforms simply because of their social media.
Because the social media is not impressive enough.
Because their social media is displaying a side that the people who was trying to cut a check they can't trust you with that.
Okay.
And see, I'm a clean comedian. I don't curse. I don't use any sexual vulgarity. Never have, never will. So I get a lot of opportunities that your average comedian may not get.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And see, I don't put that out front because I just believe in just be funny. And then you be funny, and then it's not until after the show people come say, "Hey, you know what?
You didn't curse.
I ain't real. You didn't." Like, yeah, no.
And that's what he said. That's when you own those boats and you have your white, your brown, your yellow, your black people. You have your older, you have your younger folks. Everybody could feel respected. You don't have to. You have a routine that you don't have to single anybody out,
right?
You know, and everybody is enjoying themselves,
right? And
you have so many different bags that you could reach from, just because you're not Andrew Dice Clay,
right?
No shade to Andrew Dice Clay or anybody that's in that vulgarity department, but it's just a larger bag as far as to reach from, and as far as the people that you can reach and inspire.
And my OG always tell me, he say, "Promise me you won't change." You know, he gets a kick out of the fact that I'm a clean comedian. I can go out there and rock a crowd of any status. He gets a kick out of it. You know, and I always tell people, I don't have anything against those who do curse on stage, because really the only way comedy truly works is because you have to be your true self on stage. The fact that I don't curse off stage, that's the reason I don't curse on stage. Yeah. Because you can get on stage and you can have a bit that is written out to the best of its ability. You can have a joke that is hilarious, but if it's not coming from a real place, it won't connect with the people. And then if you up there, I'm trying to talk in a certain way and the joke may be funny, but I'm trying to add this stuff in there, and the audience, they're not crazy. They'll look at like, hey, something off. Oh, he flogging. You know what I'm saying? He capping. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't him. Because I'm up there putting on. That ain't me. And I'm interrupting the whole joke. So I just do what works for me, which is I'm showing you this is who I am. So if you're a person and you use vulgarity and that, hey, brother, do you. Because like you say, you're able to name some people who it worked for.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And it's like, I've toured and did dates with DL. Like, he's not a clean comic.
Yeah, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
But he can wear that hat if he had to.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's done like corporate, events and things on the government
level. The whole political stance from DL, a lot of people forget that he's deciding. I mean, he got to a certain age and he decided that he want to see better for Black people. And this is just my opinion of what he does. But the man is still one of the kings of comedy. I mean, amongst the kings of comedy, amongst the greatest to ever do a stand-up.
Yeah.
From his voice inflections to the natural of his comedy to the real life that he, you know what I'm saying, the realness of his comedy. I've always been a super fan of his style, and I'm also appreciative of him putting himself out there politically and standing on business, as they say. You had me laughing a second there when you were saying capping and flogging.
I dated myself with that.
Well, it's a Florida word. It's a Florida thing, right?
Yeah.
But cap is a thing now. And I brought it up the other day. I was like, I've heard my father's friends say capping, as far as you're not holding up what you say you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then one of my personal partners, Bankroll Fresh, he pretty much was one of the people that helped coin cap, ball cap. And he was like, he either say ball cap or just cap, right? And then it turned into this whole thing as far as you lying, you cap.
Yeah.
And I tell folks, man, it ain't nothing new under the sun, man. Y'all folks be thinking y'all making something up. And folks from Florida been saying that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Not to praise Florida and as far as trendsetters, but
Florida has been responsible for a lot of stuff people don't give it credit for.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So when we have the hip hop conversations, I'd be like, yeah, man, you know, people was rapping in Florida, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, oh, we don't want to talk about that. You always bring it up. And so that's why it's nice to sit next to a Floridian. And I'm not really, we haven't really had a conversation before, but just the similarities of just the generation and just the region,
right?
It makes me smile from time to time, man. So I do appreciate you coming and kicking it with me.
Oh, that's love,
there's
man.
plenty of things that I do want to get into, so you're gonna have to come back, man.
For sure, man.
But before we get out of here, I want to go by a couple of styles. Since you spoke on being a clean comic, I want to speak on a couple of comedic styles, and you can mention someone that either you admire or you just that comes to mind.
Gotcha.
In that style. And if there was any style that I may forget to mention, maybe that you enjoyed growing up. Because there's a lot of different comedy styles.
Yes,
right now we
brother.
have social media comedy, we got skit comedy, and of course stand-up is the mecca of it all.
Right.
But then you have slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
Who is a slapstick comic that you can remember and speak of?
Wayne Brady, man.
Wayne Brady.
Yeah, Wayne Brady is like the face of that, bro.
Okay.
Among our people.
Physical comedy.
I would have to say, man.
And this don't have to be like the top of the top. Just, you know, what comes to mind. When you say physical.
Steve Brown. Steve Brown. You know, Steve Brown is a very physical comic, man. Believe it or not, Rodney Perry was once viewed as a very physical comic. Arnez J. Like they, you know, Tony Roberts, if anything is on that stage, it's going to be a part of their bit. They finna tear that whole stage up. They're physical. They all leaning on the chair, got the chair on the head, got the microphone standing, like the rag in their hand. Like they're very physical. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They're not finna stand still in one place. When they get off that stage, they're gonna be drenched because they done gave you everything they had.
What's the name that comes from? I just thought of. I hope I'm saying it right. Gallagher. Do you remember Gallagher?
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying that
yeah,
right?
man. Yeah, that's what we grew up on. Man.
Yeah,
Smashing
Gallagher.
watermelons and all that. Yeah,
that's physical comedy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about dry? I particularly like dry comedy.
Yeah.
I think that you have to have a certain intellect, I think, to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to look beyond the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they would say, that's so funny, I forgot to laugh. Yeah. And sometimes you forget to laugh when you watch Seinfeld.
Hey, man.
But that's
genius with it. You know what I'm saying?
But it's genius with it at
but
the same time.
But even like the Blue Collar Boys, with the Jeff Foxworthy them.
Right.
That's that dry bar.
Cable Man guy.
Yeah, man.
What's the other guy? I can't remember.
Larry
the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that dry bar that, you know what I'm saying? All that fits in the same, you know, humor, you know. And them boys are a beast with it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any let's see.
Storytellers. You got your Cosby.
Oh, right.
You know,
Storyteller.
Bill Cosby, you know what I'm saying?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Red Fox.
Yeah, man.
Eddie Murphy, Delirious and Raw. Okay, so and I just want to do this since I feel like I have some backup now. Somebody, you know, that's a 80s baby or whatever.
Yes, sir, baby.
We was having a conversation the other day, and they was disrespecting Eddie Murphy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation just came upon, like, you know, Kevin Hart versus Eddie Murphy type of conversation. Mm-hmm. But I was saying movie star, like star, right?
Gotcha.
No knock on Kevin Hart, brilliant guy. But I was just telling people, I was like, it don't really compare. You can't really get comparison to Eddie Murphy. And then they started pulling out the Googles and like, oh, compare his numbers to, I'm like, so y'all are comparing a 2000s comedy special to the 80s, bro.
And with that alone, that should mirror just how great
Eddie is, right?
Because keep in mind, man, this is back when resources were limited,
especially for black people.
Like all he had was an album. Like all we had was you. There was only 3 ways you could see comedy or get in touch with comedy. It was through TV,
very, very little,
through radio, or like the album or cassette. That was
Cosby
it.
Tapes.
That was it. You might see something in the newspaper or in print. You know what I'm saying? But today, comedy is so accessible globally. And Eddie had global numbers
in the beginning.
In the 80s with limited resources that really justify you really being global. Like the dude he's huge, man. And think about it. Like, you know, whatever numbers, say a modern day comedian has or whatever, they should.
Yeah. Because
they should, because the world is literally at their fingertips through internet, through all other media sources and other engines. You know what I'm saying? But back in the 80s, bro, do you not know how we used to sit around like you know, the stereo and listen?
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody had the cassette tape and everybody piling up in the car, and we had to sneak and listen to Adrian because we was too young because of the language. We couldn't. We had to sneak and listen to Dolomite.
And then,
you know what I'm saying? We had to sneak and watch Benny Hill. What's it?
Benny Hill.
Benny Hill. You know what I'm saying? We had to sneak up at night to watch that stuff.
Shout out to Carol Burnett, man. And white folks, man. You know,
Steve Martin, Robin Williams, man. They dominated the game in the 80s and the 70s, man.
Yeah, and it was the outlets just totally different. But I was speaking on, like, I told them, I was like, man, let me break it down to y'all. Yeah. It was like, okay, well, what's the biggest movie? And so then it was like Jumanji versus Shrek. And I was like, okay, so let's take Shrek, right? You have Cameron Diaz, you have Mike Myers, you have Eddie Murphy. On this bill, there isn't a name bigger than Eddie Murphy. In any movie that Eddie Murphy's in, there is no name that's larger than Eddie Murphy. But respectfully, on the other side, and we're speaking more modern, there's plenty of ways to advertise and promote these projects. But when you put The Rock and Jack Black and Kevin Hart on a bill, like. And then The Rock and Kevin Hart had a few different movies that they did together. Yeah. I like you say, if the movie's doing numbers, if the special's doing numbers, it's supposed to do numbers based off of the blood, sweat, tears, and time that the forefathers of comedy put in, like Richard Pryor, like Bill Cosby, like Eddie Murphy. So I just was like, hey man, and then even with that, the numbers still, like, you still got to go out of your way to Eddie Murphy could do Nutty Professor and just say Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, of course, Dave Chappelle's in there. Yeah. Of course, Janet Jackson is in the movie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But he's carrying it. It's on his shoulders.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was a thing. But I actually, a lot of times I be on these islands, or since you're here, on these cruise ships alone. And I have to, whether it's me telling everybody about why I feel rappers should respect and listen to more Jay-Z. You know, being from the South, sometimes you're gonna be out on that ledge by yourself, and I do that. Wow. When it comes to speaking on Eddie Murphy and just certain topics, like what DL is doing, as far as politically. Yeah. Sometimes being out on that ledge, man, reminds me of being out on that stage and stand up, because it's just you. It's just you. Yeah. And then you have to stand on it.
Yeah, stand on it, bro.
Entertain and find, like we say, you
gotta hold your own.
Hold your own. So when I'm going against these LeBron sexuals, the LeBronders, as I call them,
my God,
by now it's almost a symbiotic relationship, because Like if they're not there, if they're not giving me my material, then I'm like, man, come on, man. Like the other year when y'all Lakers fans wasn't really talking because y'all wasn't making the playoffs, y'all start talking about basketball.
Changed the whole rhythm of the day.
So I ain't really like that.
Yeah,
but now that they got, now that they got Luka on the squad and y'all feeling all energetic,
they feeling froggy again.
I love it, and I'm saying, and like I said, sometimes we need that audience, to get that timing. You know what I'm saying, like the comedian needs the audience in that stage. Sometimes as a social media villain or critic or whoever I am for the moment, I be needing that pushback. So being from Jacksonville and being a Mandarin kid in Jacksonville on the north side, it bred me to be able to take this shit on for days. So
head on, brother.
So I love it. And again, I'm looking at this Stephen A. Smith and this LeBron James thing.
Man.
Because we were just talking about how in NBA the ratings were real low.
Yeah.
We were talking about how, the sports shows are not the same anymore. Skip was struggling, to even keep his thing going on. So I feel that some people are orchestrating their own organized chaos in a sense.
Just to get that media.
Just to get that media.
Just to get that buzz going.
Because, hey, Stephen A. Smith signed a $100 million contract with ESPN, right?
Did that.
And it's time to re-up on the contract already. Like, hey, he just signed the contract, and LeBron just went and did Pat McAfee. And then everybody finna turn around from Pat McAfee to first take and see what you got to say about that, Stephen A. Meanwhile, we've been on ESPN all over again. We all be getting excited, and the playoffs is right around the corner. Hey, don't think that this stuff is by chance, is all I'm saying.
Bron say that Stephen A. been on a tour with this story.
Hey, man, he been on a tour. And LeBron finna take Stephen A. to the presidency, man.
Listen, and then not only is he on a tour, but he switched up. It's like the way you talking now, that wasn't how you was talking. Like, what is happening right now? So you said you was swaying on LeBron? Come on, Stephen A. Come on, brother. Come on, man.
See, LeBron got a little Kendrick, he got inspired from that from Kendrick. And Stephen A., he's been playing, because at times
he's so easy to get.
Yeah, sometimes he's the victim, and sometimes he's the aggressor.
Right.
But now he's he's on his tour. Oh, he talking about me. Oh, this and that. And I mean, I still respect you Stephen A., because you have to do a job. But come on, man.
Come on, bro. And what trips me out is sometimes, like, so tell me again, how are you the victim?
Yeah.
How are you the victim right now, Stephen A.? You know what I'm saying?
Because you're shorter.
Come on now. So he's switching the narrative, man. And just like you say, they're getting that buzz. Every platform he go on, every show he goes on, they getting the attention, just like you said. You knew they was.
Yeah, because I'm like, now you doing political spots on TV, and y'all still gonna talk about LeBron? So yeah, I mean, more power to him. I mean, shout out to the King, shout out to Stephen A. Smith. I mean, at the end of the day, the culture, long as we could keep it, within our culture.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I wasn't really too excited to see LeBron go on Pat McAfee, but then the very next day to see a white boy hit the game buzzer beater on LeBron in Chicago.
Where are we right now?
As a Michael Jordan fan, oh man, I was happy, man. And I was like, I felt like that was set up. I was like, man, hey, this shit is becoming a WWE low key. And y'all ain't fooling me. You know what I'm saying? So I do the same thing sometimes from here to there on the podcast. Yeah. So the next time you come on the pod, I might drill you a little bit as far as being a comedy. Like, hey man, you say you do clean, so you ain't gonna never cuss. You ain't did no skits yet. You know what I'm saying? Atrain. So just know that, man. It's about the platform. It's about the ratings.
I get it.
Hey, if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? So hey, but man, I appreciate you for stopping through.
No, man, I appreciate you for having me, man.
Duval stick together. I seen my man all the way at Jacksonville. Like, hey man, I felt like you had it on your heart to not only give some light to some platforms out there, because even by saying it in Jacksonville, for a second, I just kind of waited for a minute when you made the announcement. Hey, let's do it. Let's get on the mic and let's have these conversations.
Yeah.
I sat back and waited because I was like, okay, I wanted to see who were the ones that were like, okay, let me step up to this opportunity. And they could have did like me because I went to the inbox and just was like, hey, we have this opportunity, this and that. And
and some of them did.
Yeah, some of them did. Some of them may have not. But I just appreciate that you, as a comedic staple, you know what I'm saying, a comedic legend out of Florida, out of Jacksonville and beyond, because sometimes we may forget our own.
Yeah.
But you stepping out and being like, hey, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come fuck with some of y'all. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
And we gonna have these conversations. A lot of times, I just wish a lot more people did things like that. Man. So when you did that, and then I was like, well, shoot, I'm in Atlanta, so hey, if you ever come up, and you were like, yeah, shit, this weekend.
I'll be there this weekend.
I was like, well, golly, brother, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, know what I'm saying? Because that was solid. Man. That was solid. Like, you could have said next month, or you could have said, hey, man, I'm in Jacksonville when you come down here, and sometimes I be feeling like, hey, man, I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I say this for anybody that's back home, man. When you come to Atlanta, we got DJ Decepticon, we got, Dame Dozha, and this Florida pipeline. We are here representing for Duval, representing for that Florida action, but we still in Atlanta because this is where we feel the front lines of the culture is right now.
Yeah, these are trenches.
The trenches and the front lines, and we setting the trends, and we got to battle each other sometimes, but that's a part of the game. It's all a part of the game, and again, iron sharpen iron. So continue to do things like that, because the city has showed you a different type of love than the narrative goes for everybody else. Yeah. But you even setting that straight, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop being so hard on no hometown, man, because they, the pride is there,
Listen, man, and then just to help so people understand, like we ain't talking about like no little hookah lounge, like somebody getting love, them little 35 people come out, bro. Our shows do 200, 300, 400 seats, bro.
And you do two shows. Do you still do?
We just do one. We just do one that night. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I say that the next one is the next one we're doing it at the Times Union Theater on Mother's Day, May 11th. It's Comedian Atrain and friends put on by Atrain Live, The Experience, and T-Breeze Entertainment. We got Cheryl Underwood. We got Junior from the Steve Harvey Morning Show, comedian Skeet Carter, seen him from the viral videos, Mr. Side Dude himself, and myself. So we're going to be rocking out May 11th at the Times Junior Theater that Sunday. So for Mother's Day. So it's going to be real dope.
Definitely.
And
Atrain.
Get the tickets at my website, ComedianAtrain.com.
Okay, ComedianAtrain.com. The Atrain Live Experience. Are you thinking about taking it, on beyond Jacksonville?
Yeah, we've had some opportunities before, like within this 10-year run, to do it in some other cities down south and up north. But A-Train Live, The Experience, that's for the city.
Yeah,
that's my way of saying I don't care where I am around the world. Literally, I'm always gonna come home and do A-Train Live, The Experience for the people. And that's one of the things why it has worked, because we don't put shows together and throw it to the people, but I put shows on for the people. And that's the vast difference right there.
Okay. And I appreciate that, man. Giving back, man.
Yeah.
A-Train, the A-Train Live Experience, man. Tell Cheryl, appreciate that for what she said. I think it was that her that said how she appreciates her husband. I believe she said something like that. That's a real woman anyway.
Oh yeah, Cheryl is a real one, brother.
A real woman.
Yeah, man. She loves folks for real too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's one of us. She's one of us.
And again, we gotta do this again. So when you come back to Atlanta, just let us know. We'll get you scheduled. And it's gonna be probably a different platform, but we still gonna have a whole lot of fun.
That's what's up.
But I'm Dame Dozha of DOZHATOLDYA.COM, the Dozha Tolja podcast, Atrain, all the way from Duval, you know what I'm saying? But all the worldwide, globally known Atrain. You can catch them on the cruise ships. You can catch them on stage, in your nearest comedy stage, club all across the country. Last question.
Hit me.
Where's one of your favorite places to perform in the world? Besides Jacksonville.
I like Stardome Comedy Club, man.
That's in Alabama?
That's in Alabama.
Yeah.
It's actually in Hoover, Alabama. Man, the people out there love comedy, man. And that room, the way it's just set up, it's electric, man. I got a couple of them, but that's one of my tops.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about going out there because they do the karaoke.
Yeah, Ricky Smiley does his karaoke show out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my friend of mine, she DJs that event.
Nice.
And she's also from Jacksonville. So
nice.
Yeah, man, the Stardome, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate how you wanted, like how you just answered the question. You wasn't scared.
No,
but
man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Stardome. Shout out to Ricky Smiley, man. And again, man, Atrain. Catch them when you catch them. Atraincomedian.com.
Yeah, that's the website. Comedianatrain.com.
Comedianatrain.com. Get your tickets. Catch him when he comes to your city. And I think that I didn't know it was just 10 years. But congratulations.
Thank you,
on
brother.
The 10-year career that you have. But I think that you're just scratching the surface. And I look forward to seeing you expand this brand that is Atrain, the comedian.
I appreciate it, man.
Shout out to the Wifenger. Shout out to DJ
Yes,
Decepticon. And rest in peace to my bro, man. My Libra brother, Darius.
Yes, man.
That's my brother. I always keep him alive in everything that I do. I miss you. Everybody knows that, but I just wanted to. When I seen the connection, I was like, one day when I meet Atrain, I'm gonna speak on my brother, man, because that was a good dude.
He was a good dude, and he was definitely for the people, brother.
Definitely for the people, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to the Musamart, man. Long live Darius, long live Peanut, man.
Yes, indeed.
And once again, we do it for the city, man. Duval all the way, but we all the way in the A right now. I'm Dame Dozha. This is Dozha Tolja, and we out, baby. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dame Dozha. If you're looking to get your interview done or be a guest host on our podcast, hit us up at DOZHATOLDYA.COM. Bump what you heard. Remember who told you? It's Dozha Tolja.